Hey everyone, welcome back to my astrology channel. Today we're going to talk about Saturn sitting in your 8th house. So, what is Saturn? Let's start with that. Saturn is a karmic planet that gives you the results of all the good karmas that you've done, not only this life, but also in the past life. Whatever sign it's placed in, sign, not house, whatever sign it's placed in is going to determine what your past life deeds were, what are you bringing here, and how Saturn is rewarding you in this life. And then whatever you do here is going to, again, be based on those aspects how you're going to treat those aspects. Now, if you want to look at all the videos of Saturn in different signs, definitely watch my videos on Saturn in different signs. But let's get started with Saturn in your 8th house. So what is Saturn? Saturn is delay. Saturn is patience. Saturn is hard work. Saturn is discipline. Saturn is an elderly, fair judge. Okay? You can imagine so many things in this. Elderly, fair judge. So treat elderly with respect, be fair, and judge fairly. Do not misjudge people. Okay? Do not just pass your judgments on other people randomly. So Saturn can cause obstructions in your work because it wants to teach you the patience and it wants to delay. So Saturn can cause anxiety, of course. It can give you pain, physical pain. It can give you mental pain, emotional. It can take you on an emotional roller coaster if it wants to. Saturn wants to make sure that you don't take any shortcuts, don't deceive people. It will punish you if you did that. It's also going to create conditions in your life where you feel like you're going to take a shortcut or you're going to do deception. That's your test. That's when your test comes in. So Saturn also rules knees all the way down to the ankles, and it walks with a little bit of a limp. So you could get issues depending on how weak Saturn is in your horoscope. You could get issues of the knees, of the legs, of the ankles, etc. So now let's talk about what is house number 8. House 8 is the house of research. It is the house of depth, house of transformation, okay? House of, I said research. So research into anything, you could do a PhD research, deep dive in there. You could research into surgery. Surgery is a very in-depth research of the human body. So you could do that. Manufacturing, engineering, those kind of things are research. Underground work, foundation repair work, that's underground. So anything that's underground is 8. Secret work is 8. Unknown, unhidden, occult, astrology, that is also seen from house 8. So those are the things you will see in your house 8. House 8 is also sudden loss and sudden gain as well. So when Saturn is sitting in your house 8, what can it do? Like I said, any house it sits in, and do watch my other videos on house 8 and Saturn, but any house it sits in, it will cause delay in that house. So in this case, the transformation, this is a house of transformation. Perhaps Saturn wants to transform you. So it is going to still cause a delay in that transformation by throwing obstructions in your life, okay? It is also a house of sudden loss. You could end up having a sudden loss of something. House 8 is also your in-laws, which is your parents, your spouse's family, okay? So if Saturn sits in that house, it wants to make sure it's going to do justice to that house, wherever it sits, but it gives you a lot of struggle in that house, okay? On a dynamic scale, on a static scale, it's going to give you a lot of struggle. By static scale, I mean whatever you're bringing in from your past life karmas, you're going to have to suffer those. So maybe you had a lot of struggle dealing with your spouse's family when you got married or afterwards, and slowly, very slowly, because of your hard work, your persistence, your discipline, you were able to overcome that. Because Saturn is sitting in that house making you work hard and full of discipline, yet staying truly ethical and honest with everything. So that's what it could cause you in 8th house. Now, the first aspect, it places it on 10th house. What is 10th house? That's your karma, your style of work, your place of work. What do you do for work? Those types of things. Father can also be seen from here. Your status from your work can also be seen from here. So it would impact that when it's sitting there. It could give you initial struggles in getting a good job. Maybe for your work, you have to go far and wide or those kind of things, but it will give you struggle in your work area. You may have to work hard at it. It's a third aspect. You may think that your job is not all that good, but you have to show courage that it is good, that you're lucky to get that job, whatever job you have. You got to show that your job is good. And I've seen lots of placements with Saturn in 8th house. People that have that placement are generally not very, I would say they're not full of gratitude for having the job that they do, whereas a lot of other people would love to get a job like that. And I've seen that a lot. So that is something you will see with this placement, where you need to have gratitude. You need to have the love, courage to say that this is a good house. This is a good job that I have. So you will see that from here. You will also, your job may require you to do a lot of short travels, which are not pleasant because Saturn's aspects are not pleasant. So those are the things. Now let's talk about its next aspect, which is the 7th aspect, goes on house number 2. What happens with house number 2? It is your immediate family, your family that you've grown up in. It is your speech, the way you talk. It is your food, the food that you eat. It's your throat. It is your wealth, your accumulated wealth. So Saturn sitting in the 8th house is placing an aspect. So what it wants to do is it wants you to treat your family fairly. Okay, so you get that treatment back. But there will be conditions that will be created in your life where your family may not treat you fairly. And now you're at that bystand where you're like, well, do I treat them fairly because they're not treating me fairly? So Saturn here is going to test you. Saturn will want you to treat the family fairly and then use your judgment, because you got to become a judge, as Saturn is also a judge, in terms of where or how you want to handle those situations, okay? It's going to treat your speech. How do you speak with them? Wealth accumulation may be an issue for you. Maybe you like to spend a bit more than you make. So maybe you enjoy luxury or something and you just like to spend instead of accumulating wealth. But you should have wealth. It's just the accumulation of it could be an issue for you. The next thing that you would see is throat. You could have some issues with your throat. I've seen placements here with the Saturn where people have had chronic cough. It just won't go away for a long time. You know, I've seen that kind of placement with this. Now, the next aspect that Saturn places is on, so back to 7, you got to treat it fairly, you got to take care of you got to take care of your health. If you're having chronic issues, if you're having those things, take care of yourself. Seek help, get doctor's help or whatever you need. Watch out where you're spending if you're not able to accumulate that wealth. Watch out what the issues are with the family if you're not able to maintain those relationships. Now, the next aspect of Saturn is on your 5th house when Saturn's sitting there. 5th house is your children. It is your expression, self-expression. It's also your knowledge, past life good deeds. It is also your status in a sense, sort of like your fame, not your status from work, but more of your status from your lineage, you know, or your overall fame, status, etc. When Saturn's aspecting that, now that is going to be a tough house for you. If you don't pay attention to that house eventually is going to come back and want to speak to you and say, help me, I need your help. You want to pay attention to that house. So maybe you're working so hard, maybe you're doing other things in your life that you haven't quite paid attention to your own children. That they're lacking your presence, okay? They're lacking you as a mother or you as a father. That's somewhere you need to do that. Self-expression, it could impact the way maybe you want to express yourself a certain way and it's not coming out properly, and eventually you'll be able to express yourself properly with all of those people, maybe the family that you're not able to connect with. So your self-expression eventually after your mid-age will get way better than it perhaps was in your 20s or your 30s. But that's definitely a part where you can shine. You can shine with your children. You know, eventually, this is an area where you build yourself up so your children can see you as somebody amazing. You know, if that makes sense to you guys. If you have this placement, I would love to hear your comments, you know, on what you see in your horoscope. And we do personal horoscope readings, so please reach out to us in the link, via the link in the video description. And please like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell icon, and so you don't miss out on any updates. And thank you, as always, for watching.